Hey, Harry here, and today I've got another book review for you. This book review is going to be on the third and final book in the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare, and that is Clockwork Princess, and this series as a whole just destroyed my soul. God, I'm a poet. But yeah, this is the third book in this series, and I have to say I very much prefer the Infernal Devices to the Mortal Instruments, and in this review I'm just going to give you a few reasons why to that, as well as my rough review of this book because it would be heavily spoilery. I may do a spoilery section towards the end if you want to catch up on those rants. I don't know what it is about Cassandra Clare's writing style in this book, or it's just the progression of her writing, but this book just blows away every other book she's written that I've read. This basically stands apart. That's one of the main reasons why I feel that the Infernal Devices was better than, or is better than, the Mortal Instruments in my opinion, because I just feel those three books are more well written and well rounded than so far everything that's been written for the Mortal Instruments. For example, just in general, I care about the characters a hell of a lot more. I feel that I've cared more about Will and Jem in, say, one book, let's say this book, than I have about Jace or Alec in all the books that have been written so far for the Mortal Instruments series. And I don't know what it is, but it's either she decided to write a different way for this series than she did for the Mortal Instruments, or if it's just she's progressed as a writer and she now knows how to write a more well-rounded character, and the character development which they go through, it's just, it could be to do with the plot, it could be to do with her writing style. She may have just done something different, or she may have just improved as a writer, but I feel that this book just, it can basically stand alone. It's, well, not stand alone in the series, but stand alone from her writing perspective, because it's just, it's so heartbreaking but perfect at the same time. It gives me all the things that I wanted from the series, but then doesn't give me enough and still wants me to have more, but it rounds everything up perfectly. Now, to talk about some of the characters in this book, let's start off with Cecily, who's just been brought in. I thought she was very much a good character to have. We didn't really need her, but her perspective, her new eyes on the whole situation and the whole plot, how it's developing, the way the Shadowhunters world was very interesting, because she gave a different insight to everything that was happening, and overall she did help with the character development of, say, what's his name? It's not Gabriel, it's the other one. No, it's Gabriel, yeah. Gideon's the other one. Oh, and on the note of Gideon and Sophie. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely spot on. Sophie and Charlotte, absolutely love them. Oh my god, Will and Jem's final speech together was heartbreaking. Welled up a little bit, was everything I wanted. I'm still in a little bit of shock about the book. Now, for some of the twists and turns in this book, some of them were a little predictable. This is a bit spoilery about Jem, but the whole thing about him turning into a silent brother, I thought was a little bit, it was already touched upon in, I think, Clockwork Princess, so we sort of seen it coming, but the way the book ends did not see that happening at all. Oh my god, I'll talk about that more towards the end of the video, but what? Just what? As well as that, bloody Tessa's origins, who her parents really was, how she can do the thing she was. That was very much shocking for me. I didn't expect it. It's I knew there was something going on there, because it has been hinted heavily, especially at, was it the Lightwoods party with the fairy person, but blown away by that as well. Didn't expect that. Now, to talk about the plot as a whole, as I have said, I thought it was well rounded, was perfectly done. I thought the final fight scene was a little bit rushed, but it was definitely built up in such a way for something dramatic to happen, and I absolutely loved the way that that planned out all together. I definitely enjoyed the little side plots, especially with Sophie and Gabriel, Sophie and Gideon and Gabriel and Cecily. I thought that was a very nice addition to the book, because gotta have a book with a bit of romance in it. For a quick roundup, I think this is the best book Cassandra Clare has ever written. It was definitely the ending I wanted and I felt I needed from this series, and because of that, for my rating of this book, I am definitely going to give Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare a 5 out of 5, and if you like the Shadowhunter world and you want to read some more of Cassandra Clare's characters, I definitely recommend picking up this series. I personally prefer it a hell of a lot more than the Mortal Instruments series. I'm looking forward to the is it the 6th book? Yeah, the 6th book, which I think is called City of Heavenly Fire. Don't quote me on that, I can't remember to be sure. But utterly outstanding book, and I'm at a loss for words for how good it was. And just, I care about the characters way too much. I want a 4th book. It's just so good. Now in this section I'm just going to talk about some heavily spoiler points in this book, and I'm just going to basically rant because there's a couple of things I'm just blown up about. I'm going to start off with the ending, obviously the big climactic ending, and well, yeah, I was not expecting it. Like, I always knew that Will would end up with Tessa. Some way I knew it would happen, whether that was through Jem's death or him sacrificing himself somehow, but I just seen it happen and that was spot on. I absolutely loved the way that Will's death scene definitely had me caught up. But that's where I want to talk about the ending of the book. I feel that Will definitely knew about Tessa and Jem meeting up because of their like immortal talks like once a year. But at the very end of the book in 2008, which I believe is a year after City of Lost Souls, or 2 years after. So if we think about that, that means Heavenly Fire, which I think is the next book in the Mortal Instruments, is going to play a heavy part, because from what I understood, when Jem became a silent brother, there was no way for him to turn back to basically a normal human mortal shadow hunter. So to find out what happened, because he does quote on something that, like a whole story of the Waylands, the Lightwoods, the Fairchild, about saying how he had a story to tell, which I feel has something to do with his condition, as well as the way that he turned back from a brother to a normal shadow hunter, because there had to be something. He was different. It was always said that he'd never be fully a silent brother, so there had to be something going on there, and I feel we're gonna find out about that in the next book in the Mortal Instruments series, so I'm highly anticipating that book. But I did not expect, like, Jem and Tessa to ever get back together. It's just something I didn't feel or think about, because the fact he was a silent brother, I just did not expect it. So it was definitely interesting to see that. I know that the fandoms, they're gonna absolutely love it, because basically they had Tessa with Will and with Jem. So everyone wins really, but it was just a bit of a shock to the system. Now looking at the family tree in the back as well, it looks like that they never had kids. So I guess that settled my soul a little bit, because it would be a little bit awkward if she went through all that pain and she left right after Will's death, or was it a couple of years after Will's death, after all her kids had moved out, because otherwise it would just, that would feel a little bit destroyed, and I'd feel a little bit betrayed if she went over to Jem and then had a bunch of kids and basically did the same thing she did with Will. I feel like she's now going to live a different life with Jem, something that is plutonic and just theirs, which will be separate from what she had with Will. And I feel she did love both of them equally, which is why I feel it's okay, but it was a shock to the system. Something else I touched up upon as well is the necklace that Magnus Bane gives to Will and then Will gives to Cecily. I'm pretty sure that's the same ruby necklace that Isabel has, so that would be very interesting to know how it changed from, or somehow went down the line to Isabel. That's just a little piece of, you know, factual information I thought you'd be interested in if you like this series and you want to cross-relate them. Anyway guys, overall this has been my review. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're new. If you have anything to add, if you want to have a discussion about the ending, about what you feel is going to happen in the 6th book in the Mortal Instruments, please hit me up. I'm absolutely enthralled by this series. Cassandra Clare did a spot on job, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you for watching.